You know, we all like to think we're firmly in the driver's seat of our own lives. But what if I told you that a lot of the time, it's actually a much, much younger version of you calling the shots? That the patterns you follow today were drawn on a blueprint created a long, long time ago.
I mean, really think about it. Have you ever wondered why everything you do has to be perfect? Why even a tiny little mistake can feel like the end of the world?
Or maybe this one hits a little closer to home. You know that feeling when a conversation gets even slightly tense, and your first instinct is just to shut down, to do anything to avoid a confrontation?
Well, here's the thing. These aren't just random quirks you have. They're echoes. See, your childhood wasn't just some phase you grew out of. It was the period where the core software for your entire emotional operating system was installed. So, let's start by digging into the foundational why behind all of this. It all starts with what we call your attachment blueprint.
Now, this whole idea comes from something called attachment theory, which is it's profound. The basic idea is simple. The way your parents or caregivers responded to you when you were a baby, when you were at your most vulnerable, that became the template for all of your relationships later in life.
And this chart really breaks it down, right? Look at this. If your caregivers were pretty consistent and responsive, chances are you developed a secure attachment. You trust people. But if they were inconsistent, sometimes there, sometimes not, you might lean more anxious, always kind of looking for that reassurance. And if they were distant, well, you probably learned that being independent was the only way to survive, which leads to an avoidance style. Just see if any of these feel familiar.
Okay, so that blueprint is the why. But now let's talk about the what. As in, what did your behavior actually look like? These are the roles we all learn to play to get by.
You got to think of these as survival strategies. When we were kids, we were smart. We figured out what we needed to do to get attention, or to get love, or sometimes just to keep things from blowing up. And the wild part is, we got so good at playing these roles that we're often still playing them today without even realizing it. First up, we have the hero. The classic overachiever. For the hero, their entire sense of self-worth is wrapped up in their accomplishments. They learned really early that if they were the good one or the successful one, it brought some kind of praise or stability to the family.
Then you've got the peacekeeper. This person is like a human smoke detector for tension. They'll do literally anything to smooth things over. And that usually means shoving their own needs and feelings way, way down. Their life motto is, just don't rock the boat.
And finally, we have the scapegoat. Now, on the surface, this is the quote-unquote problem child. But what's really going on is that their behavior often serves a hidden purpose. It's a massive distraction from way bigger, more painful problems in the family that nobody wants to talk about. So, we have the why and we have the what. Now for the really fascinating part, the how. As in, how all of this experience literally got wired into your brain and your nervous system.
And this is so important to get. If you've ever felt frustrated with yourself for overreacting, please hear this. You're not just being too sensitive. This isn't just in your head. It's a real physical, biological response that was programmed into you a long time ago.
This slide explains it perfectly. If you grew up with a lot of stress, your amygdala, which is basically your brain's little fire alarm, got trained to be on high alert 24/7. So now, fast forward to today, that alarm is still set to the highest sensitivity. An email from your boss that's a little critical can trigger the exact same panic response as a real threat from your childhood. Your body is geared up for a fight that's already over.
Okay, but this is not the end of the story, not even close. Understanding all this is step one, but it is not the final chapter. Now we get to talk about the most powerful part of all this, how you can start to rewrite your own future.
I want you to just let that sink in. Everything we've talked about, the attachment, the roles, the wiring, it's an explanation. It gives you context for why you are the way you are.
But it is not a life sentence. An explanation is a map that shows you where you came from. It is not a cage that you have to live in for the rest of your life.
And this right here, this is the scientific proof of hope. It's called neuroplasticity. It basically means your brain is not set in stone. It's incredibly adaptable. Every single time you notice an old pattern and consciously choose a new way to respond, you are literally forging new pathways in your brain. You are actively rewiring your own programming.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that awareness gives you power. The moment you turn around and really look at your past and understand how it shaped you, you grab the steering wheel back. You stop letting that kid version of you make all the decisions. You understand your past so you can finally, truly own your future.